Hi everyone, let's make some games. In this tutorial we're going to create a new NPC using the NPC kit. There's a variety of ways NPCs can be customized. Let's take a look at some of those. For my game, I need Raptors of different power levels, but the NPC kit only comes with one type. Let's look at other NPCs that come in the kit to see what's possible. First, let's take a look at the dragons. Visually speaking, the main difference between the dragons is the material. Let's take a look at the skeletons next. The marksman has a different type of weapons, a ranged weapon. These are more scaled to each other, the amount of damage they deal and the amount of health they have. You can see those properties right here. Current health, and the damage is in the NPC attack server. Here, damage to players and to other NPCs. One thing you'll notice about the skeletons is the equipment. Let's take a look at how that works. Clicking here on the shield, it looks like this is a kit bashed shield, and it has this group at the top called left arm prop, which is the name of the socket on the skeleton that it's attached to. And then there's this script called animated mesh costume. This costume script looks at the sibling objects in this georoot folder and attaches them to the animated mesh at load time. There are other details like the eye patch and the internal organs that are kind of cool. There's one more type of NPC that comes in the kit that's very different, is the tower. Let's take a look at that. So this is a stationary NPC. It's very different from the other ones. The structure, the hierarchy is also a bit different. This is a kit bash tower. It has all these sub pieces. So it shows that NPC doesn't have to be an animated mesh necessarily. One of the characteristics of the tower is that it doesn't move. It has a movement speed of 0. So let's take some of those ideas and apply it to the Raptor. First thing I want to do is duplicate the green Raptor. I don't want to modify the original one. I want to leave it. So we'll duplicate that, move it over here. I'll call this one, create a new template from this. I'll call it the RPG Raptor Hard. Using the idea of attachments from the skeletons, let's add some horns to this Raptor. There's a horn mesh that comes in core content. Let's move that around, scale it. Something like that. Before I get too perfect on how to place that horn, perhaps we should change the size of the Raptor first, because I want the hard one to be larger, maybe like a boss. Now let's position the horn. Mirror it to the other side. Let's set up a material that isn't this default blue and white stripes. You can double click here and choose a material. That seems to work. Next, based on the idea of the dragons, let's change the color of the Raptor. What you do is you come here, you select the animated mesh, scroll down here to where it says base material, click the new custom material button, and then the edit button. You can rename this to Raptor Hard. Pick some colors. Let's also change the eyes. You can just change the color here. You can overdrive a color by typing in the value field here, something that's greater than 1, and it'll create this emissive effect. Try an even larger value. Maybe that's a bit too much. There we go. Now we want to take these horns and put them as children of the geo root. Otherwise they'll just be loose in the scene. We want them to be part of the Raptor. Now we right click and say update template from this to apply the changes. Let's play and see what happens. You immediately see a problem. The horns are not moving when the Raptor bobs his head. So let's fix that problem. What we can do is we can get the skeleton to grab a hold of that script. The animated mesh costume script. So drag that out of the skeleton hierarchy here. Delete the skeleton. That as a child. And then we can group these together and say head. That's the name of the socket. Update template from this. And there we go. The horns are now attached to the head firmly. Next thing I want to fix is the collision. In the first video, we saw that the collider that comes with the Raptor has a small issue. It's this capsule right here. It's not appropriate. Let's take a look at the Easy Raptor as well. Yeah, also not quite appropriate. So what we'll do is we'll double click here. Let's use a sphere instead. I think a sphere will be better. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just for other enemies to be able to hit and bump into them. That's pretty good right there. Let's do the same for this guy. Now we should hide them, or they'll be visible while playing. And then make sure to apply. If you're doing minor changes like that that don't do structural changes to the object, you can hit this button right here to update the template from this. It's a quicker way to do it. That's pretty good, but there's one last thing that I think would make this Raptor really interesting. Is if he spit fire from his mouth. I imagine this more like a boss fight. To make the fire breath, I start from a visual effect object from core content. Wrap that in a client context and create a new template. Then to make it appear on the Raptor's mouth, we assign it as the attack muzzle flash. So the error that you saw there, it says a runtime only network templates can be spawned this way. It's because for this fire breath we forgot to enable networking on it. De-instance this object, enable networking, and then update template from this. Now the fire effect is spawning, but it's totally out of place. can fix that by positioning the NPC attack server script. The position of this script is where muzzle flash effects and projectiles spawn from. To complete the effect, we play with the fire properties until we have a nice long jet with the shape we're looking for. Now that the Raptor's attack is in good shape, I can delete the fire effect from the scene. And the last thing I want to do is increase his health and damage. So we can set the health to 1000 and the damage right here to 40. It's looking pretty good, but I think I'll need to make a third version that's between the green and red to smooth out the power curve. Those are the basic concepts you need to make NPCs that look and feel unique to your game and provide a variety of content for your players. In the next video, we'll look at enemy spawn camps and how to design levels with NPCs. To catch this whole series without missing any video, make sure to subscribe. See you next time.